let's do a Bridgerton-styled portrait session. I'm gonna show you how to light it, how to shoot it, and because I just got the new Profoto D30, along the way, I'm gonna give you some thoughts on this new light. Welcome, friends. If you are new here, my name is Pi. We're going to get straight into this. I have a few intros. This go around, we want to do something a bit different, so I enlisted the help of a few friends. First, I actually called my buddy Lulu. She's a makeup artist. We're going to link her up. I've worked with Lulu, it's been over a decade now, right? So Lulu thought, let's actually bring on someone to help style. So we brought Alaina on board. Alaina's a local wedding planner. Again, we'll put all the links for everybody in the description as well as on the video so you guys can give them a follow. But what is the look that we're going for? What are we trying to achieve?
Yeah, so today's look is Bridgerton-inspired. So that very soft, romantic, picturesque vibe.
You had me on Bridgerton.
Yes.
Well, you had my wife through which, but you had me.
That's what we're going for.
Okay. And for our model, we have Peyton. She has the perfect vibe for this. This is going to be absolutely awesome. Coming over to the set, let's talk first about the background. For the shoot, I kind of felt this hand-painted backdrop by my friend Ethan Alex would be perfect for this. It has a kind of bright vibe, a great texture that's really fitting. But let's talk about basically lighting it. Oftentimes what we end up doing is going to the studio and just jumping straight into setting up our main light. I'm gonna do things a bit different right now. I'm actually gonna set up the fill light first. And why don't we start with a little before shot and get into actually setting that up. So Peyton, let's have you stand right in the middle. We're gonna do a little before shot just with basically the environmental. We're making ourselves look good. We're taking a terrible before so we can show an awesome after, okay? I'm at 1/200 f2 and ISO 400. Here is just our basic kind of natural light shot. Okay, so the D30 is actually the replacement to the D2 500. So this is a 500 watt second mono light that's perfect for studio use. Let's place on there the modifier. Now, I gotta say, I am loving Profoto's new lineup of modifiers. So I have here, this is the softbox, this is the 3x4, and that was literally the process of setting it up. So all you do to set it up and break it down is this simple little clip. It pops closed. Now it's open, we're good to go. We're gonna place this right on. Let's pause here for just a second. I thought it might be fun to see kind of form factor and size differences. So here's the B10X Plus, right? Here's the new D30. So you can see that they're really comparable in size. The D30 maybe being just a little bit bigger, a little bit longer with that built-in power supply. Okay, but let's go over to my old D2. So here's the D30, and this is my old D2, which I can barely hold in frame. In terms of size and form factor and just overall weight, we're talking about a huge improvement on the D30, which makes it so much easier to kind of port around to different shoots and just manage inside of the studio. Before I boom this up, let's just check the flash mode real fast. There's 3 different flash modes on this. Your most color accurate ones that are gonna vary by 100 degrees, those are Eco and Boost. We're gonna leave it on Eco. If we wanted to freeze action though, we can turn this to freeze. We're gonna get some variable kind of temperature with that, but we get a T1 time of flash duration. That's 1/10,000th of a second. So it's awesome for freezing action if you need to, but we're gonna make sure it's in Eco for right now. All right, now I'm gonna go ahead and just boom this up. I want this fill light just to kind of come top down and give just a basic sort of light to this entire scene. So you can see exactly what it's doing. I'm gonna actually knock out all the ambient light in this scene too. So let's do this. I'm gonna go to f7.1. I'm gonna lower my ISO to about 100 ISO. We're gonna take our shot. Beautiful, completely black. One of the other features that I didn't get a chance to use on this particular shoot is actually the D30's built-in modern light, which is a bicolor light and frankly, incredibly powerful. So as you can see here, it's a very bright light and it also allows me to adjust from kind of a more tungsten or warm setting to a more daylight or blue setting as well. One of the issues I often see with portrait work is that photographers will often skip the fill light and go right to setting up basically a main. I find that when you do that, you end up with images that kind of look flat. So we're gonna use the fill to kind of create a bit of light in the scene and then start shaping that light. We're starting at 5 power. The mistake that I don't wanna make with my fill light is I don't want it to be too dark. At the same time, if I bring this up, I also don't want to be too bright either. So I'm going to bring it up to 8 right now. So when it's up at 8, this looks like my main light, right? It looks like it's the primary light in the scene. I don't want it to be that. So what I'm doing here as I set the ambient light, it's the same exact thing that I'm doing in the studio that I would do outside. We set the ambient light intention. If we want something dramatic, we leave the shadows darker. We want something more natural, we leave the shadows brighter. Here, I kind of want to go in between. So I don't want it to be as bright as it was. I'm going to set it to about 6 right now, and we can always make adjustments if we would like. Right about there, okay? We're not done yet. If we leave it right here, we end up with kind of a semi-dark and sort of flat-looking image. Let's go ahead and actually set up our main light now. For our main, I've got a second D30, and we're going to position this just kind of at a very strong angle. So it's almost like Peyton standing right there. This is almost like right next to her, essentially, like 90 degrees off camera, okay? Let's grab our second modifier. This is the new Profoto 4-foot Octa. This is the silver. I've got both diffuser and baffle on the inside. And like you saw, yeah, that's how you set it up now. The days of rods are gone. Let's bring this light just up a little bit. This is our main light. I want it to kind of come from a top-down angle. And now let's test with that second light in place. I like it. The only thing is that I want to adjust the angle a little bit because I don't want the light from this to spill onto the background. So I'm actually going to push it back and angle the light a little bit forward. I'm looking for that light to kind of wrap around my subject's face. I also want to bring the power of that one up a bit. So I'm going to go to around like 6.5 and let's test it. This might be a little bit less traditional of a setup, right? Normally we kind of think like, oh, the main's going to be just, a few degrees off camera from the left to right. I'm actually lighting from basically the back side. Because what I want to do is create this sort of main light that comes in from the back of the scene and have this very natural kind of fill in the front. I think it creates a very nice and interesting look. Now, the only thing that I'm going to do, actually there's 2 more things. I'm going to put a V flat up on this side just to bounce a little bit more light back. All we want is that to kick just a little bit of light right back. Oh, that's perfect. If we compare it to the last shot, it's a very subtle amount of light that is just kicking back into the right side shadows. And I love that. There's one other thing. So I'm going to grab just a small flash. What we're going to do with this light is place it directly in front of this fill light. And I'm actually going to use it bare bold. The key to this is we want just a tiny bit of light to land right on Peyton's face. Too much, it starts to look like direct flash. And if it's not enough, it's not going to do what it's supposed to. What it's going to do, though, is lift the eyes out. I'm going to show you. So let me show you what too much would be first. If we do too much, then not only is it going to wash out all the light, it creates a gnarly shadow in the background, right? I'm going to back it off to like 1/128th power, 1/64th power. On this light, it's 2.5. So that's almost the lowest setting that it goes. And we're going to take that shot one more time. Oh, that's perfect. What I want you guys to notice is when we zoom into the eyes, what we end up getting is a brighter iris. So it actually brightens up not only the whites of the eyes, but also the color of the eyes as well. And it kind of creates a little bit of a shine on the skin. It adds a bit of life to it. One thing to remember is if at any point you want to adjust the light on the face, you can do that 2 ways. Of course, you can move the light a little bit. I'm thinking I want a little more of a Rembrandt to kind of that highlight to land on the far cheek. You can also do it with just adjusting the pose. So if I just adjust or pose a little bit towards the light more, I get more of that kind of look. So on this go, kind of turn a little bit more into the light with the chin. There you go. And then bring it back a little bit. Perfect. I find that often easier to just adjust my subject position than like having to kind of go back and tweak the lights. I love that. Keep moving. These flashes are doing fantastic. It keeps up. Gives me perfect pops every time. The color, the power, everything is just consistent. We're done with the shoot. I hope seeing the process and the setup of this was helpful to you. Now, before I give you some final thoughts on the D30s, which performed fantastically, I do kind of want to be sitting behind my computer and looking at those images. So I'll see you there. Okay, so I'm here inside of Lightroom. What I've done is I applied just a basic set of adjustments to all of the images. I kind of want to just scan through now. This is around the shoot where I think I got kind of my settings dialed in, so things shouldn't change much from there. What I want to do is kind of just scan through these and just see from image to image how the light performs. The light was doing fantastically on set. The recycle times, just all of it. I mean, kind of to be expected when I'm using Profoto, but looking at the images, they're awesome. Super consistent. Fantastic. I'm moving my model around a tiny bit as we shoot, but really great overall consistency. Let's look at this from just survey view. Let's go from there to there. Yeah, that's gorgeous. These did so well. This is not like a scientific test by any means. I'm not getting down to like the nitpicking of Kelvin adjustments, but I want to see just overall consistency, like visually and just as a visual test, it's performing really well. Okay, so final thoughts. I dig the light. I mean, it's a fantastic improvement just in size and form factor alone. The light performed exceptionally well. We have that simple, easy to use menu system that you kind of expect from every single Profoto product. The different flash modes worked beautifully. All in all, the D30, in my opinion, fantastic light. And it's a really great light when we're looking at kind of getting our first set of professional strobes for the studio. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you learned a few things, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.